The grand station clock shows precisely 6:40 in the morning. Today is the 23rd of February, 2026. A pale, almost pearlescent light begins to seep into the vast iron and glass canopy of the station, chasing away the last vestiges of night. I stand on the cool, clean platform, feeling the slight chill of the morning air through my coat. The train to the west, my chariot for the day, arrives with a soft, satisfying hiss of its pneumatic doors. It is a promise of movement, of new places just over the horizon. I lift my small, sturdy bag, its contents carefully chosen for a day of exploration, and step aboard into the welcoming warmth of the carriage. Inside, a few early travelers are already settled, cradling cups of coffee and gazing out at the platform scene. A young child, her face a perfect portrait of anticipation, presses her small hands and nose against the cool glass of the window, watching the world prepare to move. If you are enjoying this journey so far, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see where we travel next. The train gives a gentle lurch, a subtle signal that our adventure has truly begun. The sprawling city, with its familiar architecture and bustling energy, begins to slip away behind us, its sharp lines softening with distance. Tall buildings soon give way to rows of suburban houses, their rooftops gleaming in the strengthening morning light. Then those too recede, replaced by the open green expanse of the countryside. A neat line of ancient trees flashes past the window, their bare branches like intricate lacework against the pale blue sky. The quality of the light out here is different, somehow purer and more gentle than the electric glow of the city. It feels profoundly calm, a quiet invitation to slow down and simply observe. Our first scheduled stop is the charming town of Ashwell. The train begins to slow its pace, the rhythmic clatter softening to a gentle glide as we approach the station. The platform is a picture of provincial calm, distinguished by a beautifully preserved old gas lamp, a relic from a bygone era of steam and smoke. A woman with a large woven shopping basket stands waiting, her posture one of patient expectation. She offers a familiar, friendly nod to the train guard as he steps down, a small, silent exchange that speaks of daily routines. I descend from the carriage and am immediately greeted by the most wonderful aroma, the warm, comforting smell of freshly baked bread. My eyes are drawn across the quiet street to a small bakery. Its windows aglow with a welcoming light. Following the scent, I cross the road to the bakery where the baker himself is out front, diligently sweeping the steps. He looks up as I approach, his face crinkling into a warm and genuine smile. Without a word, he gestures towards the racks of bread inside, then hands me a warm, flour-dusted roll straight from the oven. It is a simple, generous act. The roll tastes of rich butter, a subtle hint of salt, and the wholesome flavor of expertly baked dough. It is the taste of the morning itself, a perfect start to my exploration of Ashwell. This small interaction has already made the stop feel worthwhile, grounding me in the town's daily life. I take my warm roll and wander towards the town square, a neat cobbled area at the heart of Ashwell. The crisp morning air carries a new sound, the clear, resonant ringing of a bell from the old stone church, calling the faithful, or perhaps just marking the hour. A group of children, their laughter echoing in the square, run past with a boisterous, happy dog, their energy a vibrant counterpoint to the town's peaceful atmosphere. I pause to look in the windows of a small antique shop, its display filled with an enchanting collection of vintage teacups and saucers, each one holding the ghost of countless conversations.
"A nice day for a ride," he says, his voice calm and pleasant. I agree and say hello, and in the easy way of small-town conversations, we begin to talk.
He tells me the baker's name is Arthur, and that his family has run the bakery for 3 generations. I learn that the barber, whose shop is just down the lane, always closes on Tuesdays to go fishing. These small, seemingly insignificant facts are the threads that weave a place together, They transform a dot on a map into a living, breathing community, making the town and its people feel wonderfully near and familiar. I find myself watching the other passengers, the quiet rhythm of their breathing, the subtle shifts in their posture as the landscape unfolds before us. With each stop along the line, the human tapestry of the carriage subtly changes, weaving a new pattern. Back on the train, the view from my window begins to change once more. The neatly partitioned fields of Ashwell's hinterland gradually give way to wider, more expansive pastures. A distant line of low, rolling hills appears on the horizon, their gentle slopes painted in shades of green and brown. Here and there, I spot farmers on their tractors, methodically tilling the dark, rich soil in preparation for the coming season. In one tranquil moment, the train passes a still pond, where a solitary heron stands perfectly motionless at the water's edge, a patient, elegant hunter. The carriage continues its gentle rocking, and a woman across the aisle begins to hum a soft, old-fashioned tune, her melody blending with the rhythm of the tracks. The relentless pace of the modern world feels a million miles away. Our second stop is Westbrook, a town aptly named for its location beside a small, lively river. The station here is of a more modern design, its clean lines and practical structures speaking of a more recent phase of development. As I step onto the platform, a cyclist in bright gear is carefully locking his bike to a rack before heading to the ticket machine, a snapshot of contemporary rural life. My curiosity is immediately drawn to the river, so I walk the short distance to a stone bridge that spans its banks. Below my feet, the water moves quickly, its surface sparkling in the midday sun. The sound of the rushing water is the town's dominant voice, a constant, energetic murmur that mixes with the distant chime of a clock and the low hum of conversation from a nearby riverside cafe. The cool air has given me an appetite, and I soon find a small, bustling market stall selling hot soup from a large, steaming tureen. A cup of soup costs very little, but offers immense comfort, its warmth seeping into my hands as I hold the simple paper cup. The taste is wonderfully straightforward and honest, the sweetness of carrot, the clean note of salt, and a subtle aromatic hint of fresh herbs. It is nourishment in its purest form. At a small shared wooden table, I watch an old couple share a loaf of bread, tearing off pieces for each other. They speak in soft, low tones, their quiet laughter a testament to a lifetime of shared moments. Before I leave the market, a little boy in a bright yellow jacket, noticing my gaze, shyly approaches and shows me a crayon drawing of a boat he has just completed. It is a charming, wobbly creation, and I tell him it is wonderful. Nearby, a woman sells jars of golden honey, the labels handwritten. She tells me with a proud smile that the bees were especially busy last year, points out the different shades of honey, and explains which flowers the bees visited to create each one. It is these little exchanges, these moments of shared knowledge and simple pride, that transform a brief stop into a rich and memorable experience, making the place feel undeniably real and welcoming. Leaving Westbrook behind, the train continues its westward journey, and the character of the landscape undergoes another dramatic transformation. Lush, green fields and gentle hills begin to recede, replaced by a more rugged and elemental terrain. Ancient stone walls, built by hand centuries ago, crisscross the land, their grey stones covered in moss and lichen. The light, which was bright and clear over Westbrook, now grows soft and golden as the afternoon sun begins its slow descent. We pass small farms nestled in sheltered valleys, where farmers pause their work to raise a hand in greeting as the train goes by. In one yard, a tireless dog joyfully chases a bright red ball, a small explosion of energy in the quiet landscape. An old, disused station, its single platform overgrown with wildflowers, flashes past, a silent monument to the railway's long history. The train slows once again as we approach our third and final stop, Moorfield. This town sits right on the edge of a vast open moor, and the change in atmosphere is immediate and palpable. As I step from the carriage, the air is cooler and carries the distinct earthy scent of damp grass and recent rain. A farmer in heavy, mud-caked boots walks past, his stride purposeful, his face weathered by the elements. I pull my coat a little tighter around me, embracing the invigorating chill. The station itself is small but lovingly maintained, with colourful flowers spilling from pots along the platform. Up a narrow, winding street, the houses are built from the same sturdy, grey stone as the walls that divide the fields. Their solid construction speaks of a need for shelter and resilience against the wild weather. A traditional pub sign, its painted letters faded by sun and rain, swings gently in the wind, creaking softly. Seeking warmth, I step inside. The contrast with the outside world is immediate. A fire crackles merrily in a large stone hearth, casting a warm, flickering glow across the room. The air is thick with the comforting smells of wood smoke, old ale, and a hearty stew simmering somewhere in the back. The sound is one of quiet camaraderie, the clink of glasses and the low murmur of friendly conversation. The landlord, a burly man with a welcoming smile, sees me shivering slightly and immediately offers a steaming bowl of that very stew, accompanied by a thick slice of crusty bread. The stew is thick, dark, and incredibly rich, filled with tender meat and root vegetables. It tastes of slow cooking, of patience, and of deep, savoury warmth, the perfect antidote to the moorland chill. At the bar, a group of locals are telling stories of long walks on the moor. One woman shows me a picture of her handsome sheepdog, its coat still wet from a recent ramble. Time in this pub feels different, wider, more generous. It is a place to linger, to listen, and to simply be. This gentle ride west, punctuated by these delightful and distinct stops, inevitably brings thoughts to the surface about the very nature of travel itself. In our modern, fast-paced world, the emphasis is so often on speed, on efficiency, on getting from point A to point B as quickly as humanly possible. We fly over continents, drive down motorways, and measure journeys in hours rather than experiences. But slow travel, the kind offered by a local train line like this one, allows us to reconnect with the small but profound things we so often miss in our rush. The changing light, the texture of a stone wall, or the scent of rain on the air. This mode of travel lets us do more than just see new places. It allows us to truly feel them. It creates opportunities for spontaneous conversations with people we would otherwise never meet. We hear the unique rhythm of the land, the rushing water of a river, the tolling of a church bell, the quiet hum of a country pub. We get to taste local food, not from a chain restaurant, but from a family baker or a market stall where the ingredients were grown just miles away. We learn the small, intimate facts that form the bedrock of a community. That the baker's name is Arthur, that the barber closes on Tuesdays, that the bees had a good year for honey. These are the details that build a true sense of place. The stops along the railway line are not just geographical locations on a map, they are temporal ones as well. Each town we visit, Ashwell had the gentle energy of a morning just beginning. Westbrook pulsed with the lively flow of its river. Moorfield possessed the quiet, steadfast resilience of a town accustomed to the wildness of the moors. The train acts as a brilliant conductor, moving us gracefully between these different tempos. As we journey westward, we are not just covering miles, we are shedding the frantic pace of the city and gradually adopting the calmer, more deliberate cadence of the countryside. We leave the noise behind, and in its place we gain a precious sense of quiet. This journey reminds us that we are part of a much larger map, a network of communities all connected by these slender iron rails. The train is a lifeline, a thread that stitches these disparate places together, facilitating the flow of people, goods and stories. It fosters a sense of shared identity, reminding the residents of a small town that they are connected to the wider world, while allowing travelers like me to feel, for a brief moment, a part of their local world. The train journey becomes a lesson in perspective, showing us the intricate and beautiful web of connections that make up the fabric of a nation. As the train pulls away from Moorfield and continues its journey into the descending twilight, I take out a small, well-used notebook and a pen. I open it to a fresh page and begin to write down a few words, simple anchors for the day's experiences. The peal of the church bell in Ashwell, the buttery taste of Arthur's warm roll, the rushing sound of the Westbrook River, the comforting flavor of carrot soup, the earthy smell of the moor, the deep richness of the pub stew. Each word is not just a word, it is a key that unlocks a vivid sensory memory. These small memories feel solid and real, like smooth, weathered stones that I have gathered from each place and slipped into my pocket. They are tangible souvenirs of the day, far more valuable than any mass-produced trinket. They are the essence of the journey, distilled into its most potent elements. The shy smile of the child who showed me his drawing, the proud explanation of the honey seller, the shared laughter of the old couple with their bread. They are the human details that breathe life into the landscape. The sky outside the window transforms into a breathtaking canvas of pinks, oranges and purples as the sun finally dips below the horizon. This final act of the day's light falls upon the fields like a blanket of soft gold, imbuing the landscape with a magical, fleeting beauty. Inside the carriage, the atmosphere shifts again. People begin to stir, gathering their bags and belongings. A woman carefully ties a colorful scarf around her neck, preparing to step out into the evening chill. Across the aisle, a child who had been gazing out the window has finally succumbed to tiredness, her head resting peacefully on her mother's shoulder. The train begins to slow for the final time, its journey nearing its end. Through the window, the first lights of a small town begin to blink awake in the deepening twilight, promising warmth and shelter. As the train glides to a smooth stop and the doors hiss open, I stand and look back down the length of the carriage. Ashwell, Westbrook, Moorfield. With a sense of quiet fulfillment, I take my bag, give a nod to the humming carriage that has been my companion all day, and step off the train with a calm, unhurried step. Ultimately, slow journeys like this one reveal small but essential truths. They teach us the forgotten art of listening, not just to conversations, but to the subtle sounds of a place, to the rhythm of its daily life, to the stories whispered by the wind and the water. They teach us to truly taste our food, to appreciate the simple, honest flavors of a local baker's roll or a landlord's stew. They teach us to watch the world with curiosity and attention, to notice the small human dramas and quiet moments of beauty. A trip to the West by rail is so much more than a simple journey across a map. It is a journey inward, a shift in the way we move through the world and in the way we see it, an antidote to the relentless demand for speed and efficiency that can leave us feeling disconnected. By choosing to travel slowly, you will find more than just scenery. A warm roll offered with a smile, the soothing sound of water under a stone bridge, a bowl of stew that warms you from the inside out, and people willing to share a small piece of their lives and their stories with you. For a little while, these stories and these moments become yours to hold. You carry them with you like the stones in my pocket, and they enrich your own story in turn. Thank you for coming along with me today. If you enjoyed the ride, please remember to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next journey.